Ukraine announced on Monday that its military units had retaken 7 villages along the 100-kilometer, 60-mile front in the southeast for Russian forces since beginning its eagerly anticipated counteroffensive last week. A military official says that Ukrainian forces have moved along the front line near the eastern city. By moving toward Russian defensive positions in southern Ukraine, southeast of Zaporizhzhia, on Tuesday, small, lightly armed Ukrainian units appear to indicate a shift in the situation. The task of putting an end to Russia's invasion of the country's southern and eastern regions is difficult due to Russia's numerical advantage in men, weapons, and air power, as well as the lengthy period of time it has had to construct extensive defensive fortifications, particularly in southern Ukraine. Ukraine's advances have not yet received formal approval from Moscow. However, well-known Russian military bloggers asserted that after capturing Blahodan, Neskidin, and Nakarivka, Ukrainian forces were advancing toward the south. The move is already Ukraine's fastest advancement in the past 7 months, despite the fact that it has not yet made significant progress. It is anticipated that a large number of Ukrainian service members will participate in the counteroffensive who have received Western training and equipment. This victory, one of many that are roughly comparable that Kyiv has announced this week, is an improvement. Ukrainian forces have also started assaults at other points along the extensive front line to look for Russian weaknesses, though they have only provided a few details so far. It is anticipated that the main Ukrainian force will begin its assault on the coastline from the southern front. In addition to its own battlefield resoluteness, tactics, and motivation to drive an invasion force from its own territory, Ukraine is counting on the tens of billions of dollars in weapons, training, and intelligence that it has obtained from the West to give it the advantage. The current skirmishes may indicate that Ukraine is still merely putting Russian defenses to the test, according to some Western military analysts. Russia has not yet faced a full onslaught as a result of its ineffective battlefield performance over the past 15 months, which has led to constant changes in command and public disagreements, with the private militias called in to fight alongside the army. This will be the war's deadliest and most destructive phase. In order to attack the land border between Russia and Crimea, Ukrainian forces must break through Russian defensive lines in the south and push the enemy back. Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia, seems to think so. In a video interview that was posted on Telegram on Friday, he stated, "We can definitely state that this Ukrainian offensive has begun. In some ways, it has already begun, with Ukraine carrying out what military jargon refers to as shaping operations, long-range missile and artillery attacks against important Russian logistical targets far behind the front lines." Small detachments of lightly armed Ukrainian units appeared to signal a shift on Monday as they advanced across open fields toward Russian fortifications in southern Ukraine, south of Zaporizhzhia. Serhiy Kuzin, co-founder and chairman of the Ukrainian Security and Cooperation Center, stated, "Now the so-called fighting reconnaissance stage is taking place along the entire length of the front. According to some videos and accounts, they ran into trouble quickly." Mr. Kuzin stated, "This happened somewhere more successfully with small losses, and somewhere else where the Russians respond less successfully." Mr. Kuzin said that all of the towns were in the region south of Zaporizhzhia, but he did not specify which ones. By Tuesday, the destruction of the dam at Nova Kakhovka and the subsequent flooding that soon covered approximately 230 square miles, 596 square kilometers, on either side of the Dnepro River had captured the world's attention. It appeared to be a coincidence, in spite of the Kremlin's denials. For Ukrainian forces looking for ways to keep Russian forces off balance, The dam and the road that ran across it provided a possible line of attack. Taking one of Kyiv's military operations out of the picture, it seems highly likely that Russian forces, in charge of the dam, decided to blow it up. More than once, Kyiv had expressed an interest in this section of the front line. At Oleshki, Ukrainian soldiers briefly established a bridgehead at the end of April. Several small islands in the Dnipro Delta, close to Kherson, were also taken over by Ukraine. It is currently academic to speculate on the scope of Kyiv's military plans for this region. River crossings will have been temporarily impossible due to the catastrophic flooding. The fighting continued further east, and it appeared to get worse, while the authorities in Kyiv had to deal with the flooding on the spur of the moment. Heavy fighting continues along multiple sectors of the front. The UK Ministry of Defense tweeted early Thursday morning, adding that Ukraine holds the initiative in most areas. Sergei Shoigu, Russia's defense minister, said in a video the same day that Russian forces had stopped an overnight Ukrainian attack with 150 armored vehicles and 1,500 troops in the area south of Zaporizhzhia. As indicated by the Russian Guard Service, Ukraine's 47th Motorized Detachment made an endeavor to get through Russian lines. A video purporting to demonstrate something novel was distributed online: destruction of a Leopard tank supplied by the West. The current state of affairs was kept under wraps by Ukrainian officials, who typically kept their mouths shut. The Deputy Defense Minister, Hanna Maliar, coyly stated that Russian troops were actively on the defensive 65 kilometers southeast of Zaporizhzhia in the vicinity of the town of Orikhiv. She also confirmed in a telegram statement that fighting was continuing to the east of Velika Novoselka. The two towns most likely form the western and eastern edges of a front line that is heavily fortified, and where many analysts believe Ukraine will attempt to break through Russian lines in the future. In the Donbas, pro-Russian Telegram channels were overflowing with excited, often snide, discussion of Ukraine's most recent actions. Others acknowledged that Ukrainian forces had advanced, but they questioned the cost in lives and equipment. Ukrainian forces appear to be moving forward in footage from the north and south of Bakhmut, the site of one of the war's longest and bloodiest battles. According to Ms. Maliar, they had moved from 200 to 1,100 meters in various sections in an effort to eventually encircle the city and trap its Russian occupiers, she said.